Hey guys, welcome. Today we're at the Centro Stile in Torino, Italy for Alfa Romeo, for a very special Alfa Romeo. You see this? This is a 33 Stradale. Some say it is the most beautiful car ever built. We'll be talking about this car together with Cristiano Fiorio of the 33 Stradale project. Not this car, but this car, the 2023 33 Stradale. This car is really impressive, not only because of its shape. I've seen it in real life now for the first time. I even get goosebumps now when talking about it, but also the value. Of course, that is because there are only 11 left, of which you have
One. Yeah, we have one, which is a prototype actually of the original car, and the 11 cars are in the hands of 8 collectors. So they are very limited in numbers and are more limited in the number of people owning them.
And the people owning them, it's being supervised by Italian heritage government? Or
no, that is related to our museum. So all the cars in the museum are protected by the Ministry of Culture in Italy, and that is to protect the value for Italians. And it's like the pictures of a museum or the paintings.
It's like works of art.
They are exactly treated as works of art. Even to take the car here, we have to ask a formal permission to the government because, of course, this is a patrimony of all the Italians, we say. Beautiful. And it's good because we are happy that this became a piece of art. To me, you said that you have goosebumps. Yes. I have it too, and I see it quite often. So
yeah, you still have it. Oh, that's great. That's great. So this car actually was an inspiration for you to design, together with some Alfisti fans, investors maybe, a rebuild actually of this. How did that happen?
The idea actually started a few months before Monza, where our CEO had already in mind, Jean-Philippe Imparato had in mind that we wanted to write a page of history. And you do not write a page of history putting the brand where we are now, so securing the future of the brand P&L-wise. We are happy on that, of course, because if you do not have that, you cannot dream of anything. Once we did that, we started thinking of the word of few-off. Because we believe that the few-off is in the DNA of Alfa Romeo, the Fuori Serie word.
Fuori Serie is a limited edition.
Limited edition, correct. Yeah. And so we said, which car should we start from? And we went to do a tour in the museum. The tour in the museum, where we have more or less 200 cars, ends up in the last floor with this car very visible in front of us. And so each time we went there and we ended up in front of the Stradale, we said, if we have to start something important, it's an easy choice. We have to start from here. But
it's a heavy burden to do. Because it's such an icon.
Exactly. So we were, on one hand, very frightened, let me say, because you are, very respectful. It has to be good looking for the next 50 years, like this one. Then the challenge becomes huge.
Of course.
And we like huge challenges, so we said, let's do it. The second point you mentioned, which is, to me, one of the most unique and nice characteristic of this project, is that we said, if we want to do something unique, we need to involve our future possible customers, because most of them became customers, some didn't, into the creation, because we started from sketches, you can see many sketches. As usually, the ideas have to enter into the funnel. And while we were doing this process, we said, what can be most important for us and for the clients, involving them into the teamwork, because of two things. First, it's unique for them, and two, it's important for us, because many of these clients, collectors, Alfisti, not only they love the brand, but they know the history, they know a lot, sometimes they know more than us. Of course, it's very complicated because it's a lot of people giving you different inputs, ideas, and you have to translate them into
But you had
beauty.
Like a board, like a selection of heads of design and process and heritage maybe, to have these ideas filtered. And you had a meeting and you had all the input of the clients, and then based on that you made selections and sketches?
You said it all.
I said it all.
Yeah, no, reality is this. We had a room where we met the clients. And this room was in the museum. Sometimes the client came here also because here we have Centro Stile, and so it was easy to involve them in the sort of co-creation, as we say. Then we brought each time the evolution of the project to a committee that we created. The committee. Is basically formed by all the important functions of the company. So you have heritage, you said it, the heritage that oversees the museum, the heritage that oversees all the package of heritage cars for Stellantis. We had the product, the design, of course, represented by a few people, the interior design. We had the client's management because we had to manage the clients.
And they had to give their go.
The marketing. So the finance, because they have to track that you spend also the right amount of money. So every function, key function had to be represented. And basically it was a selection of ideas and also of clients, because we had a lot of requests, more than we expected. Actually, we started, and the first coming, they were of course selected among a list of true Alfisti that have a collection of Alfa, that they use the car actually, because we wouldn't like all the cars to be sitting in a museum and never showed.
Let's go and check the new car, because we're still here with the father of the car, and now we are here at...
Precisely, you said the father, I actually call it the mother. But just because I say 33 Stradale, and I think she's a woman, but I don't know, maybe she's not. The most difficult part of the design phase, actually two more difficult, was first, create something that was inspired but was projected in the future. So inspired by the past, projected in the future. But the second is that the nice part, the purity, of course, we call it bellezza necessaria, so do not add too many lines.
Necessary beauty.
Yeah, exactly. We have a lot of new, modern, super, hyper cars that are full of angles, too much. And the third, I said two, but actually it's three, is that we had to blend brutality of the car, so being very, as you said, masculine, but on the other side being very sensual. So we had to blend these two things, which actually are opposite, but they had to come together in an harmonious way. And we believe actually that this was done in a phenomenal, very good way.
It is.
The nice part of this car is also that there are a lot of things which are beautiful and functional. We do not like to make fancy stuff. We want to be very concrete. No, fancy means concrete. Nice, but useful. Functional.
Form and function.
We came up with this, which we believe for the moment is exactly what we wanted for restarting the project of Foriseria for Alfa Romeo.
And it's very nice to see where you got the inspiration, and where you kept like the cutout in the rear of the original car. The paint job is called Villa d'Este red.
It is a color that was tested actually on a car, on an Alfa Romeo back in 2011, and we liked it so much, but it was never produced. It is similar to some colors. Some said it is the AC color. No, actually it is much more articulated. It's very deep, and as you can see, according to where the lights is pointing, the color changes, and this is exactly the effect of this color. This is why we chose this as...
It's very complex. I've seen it in the sketches actually, like a really strict triangular shape. It's not in that model, it is in the final model.
Yeah, it comes from the idea that there have to be some symbols that identify the future of our brand. So, of course, the triangle is a part of our DNA, our shape from Scudetto, and we believe that is an important mark. Don't ask me more, but there are things on this car that have to reflect our ambition in the future. And I think
read between the lines that it...
I don't know. I will not say more, but it's important. Coda tronca. I mean, the designers have to think that this is not just an exercise standalone, because otherwise it would not be coherent with the plan we have, which is a very clear plan up to 2030. So we have to use this, of course, as a Foriseria for those clients, but it's also a matter of inspiration, a bridge, of course. Also because of the powertrains, because you know very well that we are offering to the clients the possibility of choosing ICE or a BEV. And this because the brand is transforming itself to a BEV brand, full electric in 2027, and we believed that this could be our perfect bridge from the past to the future. We need to show that we are able to do cars in both ways, but with the same shape, and more importantly, with the same drivability. We always believe that the handling of Alfa Romeo is one of the most unique things that Alfa Romeo can offer to its clients. And so it is a challenge that we have in front of us because we didn't go dynamic yet on the testing. We sort of hired, but he is also a client, Valtteri Bottas, who is our Formula 1 driver, and he will do the dynamic test. But the brief is clear. We have to have the same dynamics between IC and BEV. Of course, then you will have some little difference in performances. The BEV might have a better acceleration.
It makes more horsepower. It is four-wheel drive. The ICE
it's heavier.
It's heavier also.
Absolutely. And this is the challenge of how to make it balanced in the right way, because at the end,
car, but it's completely different.
It's different, exactly. So we have to be very well in the setup, let me say, because we have to have a same drive dynamic.
And what is sitting here in the BEV version? Because you won't have the exhausts, you have a closed, a luggage compartment.
A luggage compartment. We have actually a luggage compartment also on the ICE, but we will have a top, of course, displaying. As you can see here, we don't have an engine in this because it's a mock-up, but you will have a display.
It's the longitudinal 3-liter biturbo V6 of an evolution of what is in the Giulia QV.
Absolutely, in the ICE, yes.
You've kept the doors. The doors, what is it called again? It's not
elytra doors.
Elytra doors.
Yeah,
so that's
absolutely.
also something that has come from the
past. It was one of the first car ever to use this technology. Of course, now many have this kind of technology, but can you imagine the challenge of making the single, of course, window?
It appears like to be one curved glass part with a section that opens up. And why is it still there?
It is still there because at the end of the day, you would not want to open the door if you need to pay the toll. And so you have this window, which is functional again, because you need to open it in case of need.
Of course, to stick your arm through.
Exactly.
Oh, yes. Beautiful.
As you can see, the angle is very comfortable because you don't need to squeeze yourself.
No, not at all.
You have seated inside the car?
I have not yet, no.
You should try it. That's exactly how you should get in.
Oh, yeah.
So the basic concept that was transferred to our engineers was total depollution. So today cars are full of things that are unuseful, especially buttons on the steering wheel. We did not want any button on the steering wheel, so you do not find. We wanted to be analogic, as you very well know, so every function that you see has a little switch which makes a specific noise, and
does it make the noise here?
It does. In that case, you have touched one, which of course is a test one, but you know that we have to have the control, the remote controls of the car, the electronic controls. So you have a display that you can show. The mechanism is not the one that you see on the prototype, but you will have a display that you can use to control all the, of course, the electronic part of the cars. But the nice part is when you drive, you just drive, you don't need to see anything else.
It's so pure, and also a choice of materials. So this is model, but is this the final material? So
it's another very good question. This is one of the possibility that we offer to the clients, which is forged aluminium. But we have many other possible configuration with different kind of aluminiums or different let's say, setup of the internal configuration with carbon fiber. It is depending on the choice of the clients. We go on a more, let's say, inspired by the future setup, which we call the Tributo. and which of course tributes the old setup. You can see the chairs, you can sit here and then you can sit in the old car, but the shape of the seat is called cannelloni, like a pasta, by the way. And then we have a Corse setup, which is darker, black carbon fiber.
More aggressive.
And then you can have many options. You can have matte carbon fiber, you can have glossy carbon fiber, you can have pigments of colors inserted in the carbon fiber. There are tons. We did up to today almost 85% of the configuration. So already the client's configuring his own cars, and we have 24 different cars.
Nice, but that's what you had in mind, no?
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah. So
we wanted to be unique.
Yeah, of course. And of these 33 cars, the client's cars, there is 20% that chose the BEV, or what is the...
So the mix today is more or less 20-25. I say 20-25 because the reality is that it's changing. We started with 10-15%.
Yeah.
And then when we started going little by little onwards with the project, they started changing their mind. I don't know why. I say to myself, it's like when I went home to my kid and I said, we do it also BEV. My kid was very happy, so they might have shared with the family, shall I take it BEV or ICE?
And also
and maybe the family could influence their choice. I have no idea. But the reality is that bit by bit we are going a little bit to 25. It might end up 70-30.
Yeah.
We will see.
Yeah. There's a big Alfa logo hidden in the brown and black panel.
Where we have the sound, the stereo.
It is a cover for the speaker.
Absolutely.
And also the aeroplane-inspired roof buttons. Like
and also the gearbox, and this is because we start from airplanes. We were doing airplanes back at the origins of our history, and that is why we got some inspiration. It's important to know also that the configuration meets the luggage set. We have a set which is built on purpose for the car, so 2 bags for the back, 1 bag from the front, 2 behind the seats, and the little glove box that you have seen, which is made on purpose and is extractable, so you can take it away actually with the documents.
And this perfectly fits in compartments that are in the car.
Exactly, it is done absolutely tailor-made, and they can personalize exactly with the same setup of the car, the set of luggage. Some said, we want to keep pilota and copilota. Others said, I want to put my name. But they love the idea of pilota and copilota. So I think it is another DNA element of Alfa Romeo.
The complete package. So other things, customizable things, not only luggage, but also this,
colors as an example.
Things you take to clients for inspiration or to help them choose and configure?
Absolutely. So what we say always is we start with a set of colors, which are those 3 colors, which are the 3 colors that we chose as the more related to the project. Why? Because the red is the original one. This is the color you see, and is our modern interpretation of the red, because we are projecting the car into the future.
And the difference it makes in the highlights, it is phenomenal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Crazy,
There are some, of course, that have chosen this because they want to be linked with the history. And this is, we call it Blu Reale, and it's linked to the history again, because there was one client back out of the 11 old cars that they were all this color, but one was blue, because a client at the time, a very special client, decided that he wanted a blue car, and so that is why in the history we have 10 red cars and 1 blue.
And the blue, is it still around?
And the blue is still around, is among one of the 8 clients.
So that is the unicorn. So one of the clients from the new car has the blue original car.
Correct.
Oh,
actually, there is one client that owns 3. So, and we were very proud when the clients of the old Stradale, that of course were among the first in the list that we called to propose this new one, said we wanted, because we understood that the direction of what we were doing was the right one, because they are very respectful of the traditions and of the history of the brand, and they understood that we were respecting the traditions but projecting the brand in the future. So there are two little elements which are interesting. This is a sort of alternatives colors that they can choose. We always try to propose colors that somehow have something related to the heritage of Alfa Romeo. So if there is a client that would ask us a pink car, we would say no, because it is, and the committee would say no, it's not myself, because every configuration, by the way, is approved by the committee. And if you ask something which is not in our DNA, we would not trade it off, and we would say no.
But these color samples, they have something to do with the heritage.
Absolutely. We have a lot of, we have studied our past in order to propose the configurations of the 33. This is valid for colors, this is valid for materials. And it's curious also that some clients that could have not come here, I have this little luggage, which inside you have the shapes, the colors, the material, and you have also, I have a portable PC with a specific program that shows the 3D of the car. And so I have done 3 or 4 configurations around the world with clients that could not come here for work reasons.
And how long are you working on a configuration with the client?
With some 45 minutes, with some 2 hours and a half. It depends a lot. There are some clients that came with the doctor, with the children's, with
and they all had to choose.
With the wife, and it was a sort of family affair. Some that came along. So when it was a family affair, it was a little bit more complicated. Everything which is related to the clients, we keep it really confidential.
It's even up to them to reveal it or not reveal it. You deliver it in silence, and and when are the first client cars delivered? Is it?
The first car will be delivered December 17th of next year, 2024. Why? Because we were inspired by the first sketch of Franco Scaglione, was done back in 17 December of 1966, and we believe that this date, which was written on paper, was so important to us that we said we have to tribute this date with the first delivery of the car.
And another important thing is the VIN number, I've read. So maybe we have to go and just check it because it's in the car.
It's the first time we really choose a part of the VIN number with the clients. So the 33 STR was actually chosen by all the clients. So actually that part has been chosen not by Alfa Romeo but by the clients of the car, and is 33 STR. And the last digits instead, the last 8 digits, will be personalized by each and every client with whatever they want. They can put their dates, the birthday of their sons, or whatever.
So it's a personal touch. Will people sell them? That's something
it's very...
They cannot.
Actually, first of all, when we decided the list, we looked for people who would love the brand and would keep the cars. We have no guarantee that they will keep the car forever, but theoretically we didn't look for speculators, but we looked for passionate alfisti.
Of course.
Then we have some specific things on the contract that I will not disclose, but there is a period of lockup where the car is locked up, and we prefer that the car would not be sold. You never know what happens in life. Then we will accept any waiver if there are specific strange cases. But in theory, these are cars that, if they are kept for a while, the value of the project increases.
Of course, and it is a part of the family then. You've chosen it with your wife, your kids. It was a pleasure talking to you.
It was a big pleasure.
We do this again.
For us.
It's the second time we do it.
And for me, and I hope that you enjoyed the journey.
It was incredible.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Thank
See you next time. Bye.
Bye.